Hello Dairy Today viewers, from the Stuart Peterson Advisory Team. Here's your Dairy Week in Review for the week of January 13th, 2012. We'll wrap up the trading week here on Friday, taking a look at our component prices. First noting that cheese was down on the week. Barrels hit the hardest, down 4 pennies. Also blocks down as well, down 1.5, just under the 160 mark. So I did see some softness throughout the week in cheese. Also looking at our butter prices, we're up just 3/4 cents, moving above that 161 mark for butter. Looking at our powders as well, we did see February whey set back just a little bit, but overall I'm still hanging in there pretty well, finishing the week at 71 cents. And our February non-fat dry milk was unchanged for the second week in a row. Now looking at our class 3 milk prices, you can see some very significant losses on the week, January through June. This was really spurred by a lower cheese trade, as well as the grain markets really stepping back following more of a bearish crop report here on Thursday. So with that in mind, coming back to our milk prices, you can see our second month contract February was hit the hardest, down 67 cents on the week, nearing that $17 mark, finishing just above that at $17.08. So really tough losses on the week, quite a lot of red. You can see here March to April also hit hard as well. May and June they were down but came across pretty unscathed for the week. So now looking at our class 4 prices as well, we did see some additional softness here. Last week we really didn't see a whole lot of price action, but this week we did see some of that softness as I just mentioned. January through March, anywhere from 4 to 11 cents lower. The more deferred months came away a little bit better than that, April through June, trading around unchanged, up 3 cents for the week. Taking a closer look at our spot cheese trade for the week, this chart does represent our weekly block barrel average price. So you can see here the past 3 weeks we have moved just a little bit higher. The gains have been very minimal, but it did seem like momentum was building in this cheese market. But you can see we did sit back here just a little bit, finishing the week under 158. But with that in mind, we still know key support lies beneath us. I'm going back to the March-April lows at 154. Also looking at our second month contract, looking at February, this contract was hit the hardest this week. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that on a daily chart. So going back to our recent lows in November, you can see this trend line we tested in December here at 1670. Still held above it here. Recently on Tuesday we tested it at 1714, and actually today's trade we broke beneath it, finishing at 1708. The latest dairy export data was released this week as well. Looking at the month of November, and saw some very strong and supportive numbers there. First starting with the total dairy exports, they were up 6% from the previous month of October, and also up 11% from last year. Also looking at the cheese exports, some very strong numbers there as well, up nearly 20%, came in at 19% compared to the previous month, and up 53% from last year. So we'll take a closer look at those dairy exports on the charts here. So you can see overall it's been a very strong export year for us in the dairy industry. It has been record breaking, so we'll take a closer look at that on the charts. We'll start with 2009. You can see our export numbers there, 2010, and then this last year. So we can see it has been pretty stable throughout the year. You can see that 6% gain here, going back to October up to November. So that very significant 6% gain after bottoming out in September, October, and also that 11% gain from the previous year. Next week, just a few things on our radar. The first one being looking at the grain markets, we did see some very significant pressure throughout the week that really weighed down on our milk prices. So if we do see some additional softness in the weeks and months to come in the grain markets, we know it's going to continue to influence our milk prices as we get into this new year. Also looking at reports for this next week, we do have the December cold storage report due to come out on Friday, January 20th. From the Stuart Peterson Advisory Team, I'm Rocky Gang. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.